summer of 69, there's a song about that, obviously, but yeah, the summer of 69, I had spent most of my summers up in Wyoming and well, up that point, up in western Wyoming, working on farms and ranches, hauling hay, moving sprinkler pipe. Nobody moves sprinkler pipe anymore; they move themselves. But back then, you had to uncouple them, carry them up, hook them back in. As you moved them across the field, and so I had quite a bit of experience at that. But I had kind of decided in '69 I wasn't going to go up there that summer. I was going to do something else. And then another one of my uncles on my dad's side of the family had bought a 1,000-acre potato farm just north of Idaho Falls, out in Roberts, Idaho. It's about 10 miles outside of Roberts, Idaho. That was so they called me up. What had happened was they'd had a bunch of, I don't know, Indians from there's a reservation up there, and I'm Blackfoot Reservation, I think. Anyway, they'd hired a bunch of Indians and moved pipe, and they're quite good at it. And but they got paid and they went into town and got drunk and never came back. And so they're left with a crop of potatoes in, needing to irrigate it and nobody to move it. And they couldn't find anybody there because everybody else, had gone off to do whatever they do. So they knew that I and my brothers had some experience moving pipe. So they called down and said, Paul, come up here and work for us. And Kevin was off somewhere else, so he could do it. We're just desperate. We have to have, and my mom and dad kind of leaned on me a bit, and okay, all right. I have to say, I didn't really like moving pipe all that much, but I was pretty consistent on it. So my brother Jeff and I, and Clark, and John Norman, and Mark Snyder, who's you probably don't know Mark, but yeah, he was. Anyway, we all go up, and Bobby Armbrust went along as well. That might have been all of us, although at six in my head, we had maybe Mike Goff. I don't remember who all, but I know those did go. And we flew up to Idaho Falls and went up, and we lived in trailer houses. There was a trailer out at the farm. It was all trailers out there, but there was the one that the pipe movers were in. Didn't have any windows. It had no heat. Might have had a plumbing. Oh, it did have a septic. It had a septic tank that Clark and the crew had to dig themselves and put in some barrels, right? And I mean, to heat it, they turn on the gas stove, which was a little crazy. I think Mark and my brother Jeff and somebody else lived in town in the trailer house that belonged to the partner of my uncle, his parents. So we're in there. But then we would go out every day, and we'd all go move pipe. And I mean, this is a huge spread. It was really big. And so they would take us off and drop us off at the different sections of line that we're supposed to move. But if nobody's around, you had to walk back. So when we were done, so we go out and move the pipe, you get all muddy, you're tired, you haven't had breakfast yet. You come walking down the road, and here comes Clark driving by in a pickup, one of the ranch pickups. And he didn't drive right down next to me, but he's kind of over this way. And I thought, and he was quite visible, and I thought he turned and looked at me, and I'm yelling, Clark, 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 because I didn't want to walk back. And he just kept on going. And I'm thinking, he's just giving me a hard time. And I was feeling very cranky. And so I walked, it was probably about a mile and a half back. I get back to the whatever you want to call the headquarters or whatever, get back there, and Clark comes out of the trailer, and I was so mad I just punched him in the stomach because I built up this whole thing that Clark was just being mean, and giving me a hard time. And he doubles over, he says, what did you do that for? I said, you just drove by me, you left me out there to walk back. He said, I didn't even see you. Where you at? And I overreacted clearly. And the irony here is I felt really bad about it, and I felt bad about it ever since. Clark doesn't even remember it. So it tells you maybe the victims forgive things a lot quicker than the person who did the perpetrating.